I'm Lane, this is Ben. Ben's going to help me. Okay. You ready? Okay, here we go. Are we? Next one, okay. There's a few things in the older plotting and that is very successful, but there's a few things missing, and the new MPS has evolved over time, and we've been adding on more and more, and we've added in a lot of things that our customers have been wanting and things like that, and Ben, well done. So like the naming was really interesting. You know, it sort of started off, and we sort of called it Lane's plotting tree. LPT1, multi-page plot sheet. We went through many plot sheets. That one never made it. Multi-page, sheets, many sheep. But I like it called it magic plotting. Because it is actually quite magical what you've done. So I've always wanted to be a little bit of a magician in that. So could somebody just yell out a random number between, say, 1 and 10? 8. Okay, thank you. 8. Okay, I'll use that number 8 somewhere else. That's like Buck Shelford. But I've got to also say that I won't pick on anybody in the audience like Peter Tayton or anything like that. He's said that I'd have to grow up because apparently I haven't grown up yet. Peter Tayton. Happy birthday, Matthew Stevens. It's his birthday today. But we've ended up with multi-page plot sheet. So there's a few things that were put in there. One of the lacking things was, sort of like, not lacking, sorry, we wanted to start splitting up your plots, having many plots and many frames and many sheets. So come up with the concept of a book. So you'd have your book, you can set a whole lot of things at a book level, and from the book we went into a chapter. So you can have many chapters, so you can split up your work, how you actually you're creating all your plots. There's another reason for the chapter as well, because what we can do is have the special chapters, or I call them magical chapters. I'll show you those later on. But then you've got the page, so every chapter can have pages. So you can have multiple pages under that. With your pages, you also have your frames. So you can put a frame in. This is just a straight out plan frame, but along came a few more. So we also have a section frame, which is absolutely fantastic. You've got overrides here. You've got your PPF file. You can override the scale from your PPF file, or you could actually override, say, like a model of sections and things like that. So you could actually have this a couple times. And there's also a few more overrides there, not on the screenshot. Long sections. Once again, the profile, you've got all your different overrides there as well. So you can actually select a start and an end chainage, different sheets. But bit limiting, like if you want to do 100 cross sections or many different sort of alignments. Then there's also a perspective frame. So we've never been able to actually plot a perspective view, which is sometimes quite needed for different areas to show different things. But along came also obviously the 3D PDF as well. So that's going out so you can orbit and do different things with that. So that's all inside that. Now there's this concept of sort of like referencing. In the old plot sheet, you'd actually have to fill in your title block 1 million times. And if you had to do a change, you'd have to go through and change them all the different title blocks and different things. So at a book level, you could actually put in a title file. This is my little slow thing you see there that came up. But in the title block file, you just select title block file. You could actually use a title file. Then you can actually put in your title information. And you've also got the option of a drawing register.
And it works.
Good, okay, that's good. But the best bit is that this can actually you can actually reference back to this. So like you just pull it out once and other sheets can actually start looking at it. So this could actually be set at a book level or a chapter level or at a page level. There's my little picture. So we've got like, Rooster Park is, highlighting down there filled in all your information. But here's an example, is that this case here, my page level, my title file is actually referencing back. It can reference back to either your chapter level or your book level. So that's good, and I just took a screenshot. Text placement, on all of the frames, or not necessarily frames, but you can also have text placed absolute or relative to a frame. You might use the variables available, so you might have a scale, because you might have many frames on your actual your sheet, so you could actually highlight different scales, put different text on. It might be titles, or it might be whatever you want, I suppose. But there's a whole lot of new attributes. Two that I really like is the current page number, but the other one is total page numbers. So what it can do is it can actually search out through the your multi-page plot, and it will actually calculate how many sheets are actually going to be in there, so you can actually start labelling them up. Notice I haven't mentioned anything about rugby yet at all. I don't think I really need to, because I think you all know that we have the World Cup, the Women's World Cup, the Ladies Sevens World Cup, and the Men's World Cup. So I've got no slides or anything else like that. That's honest, I haven't. This is like an example of text placed, and I've got my variables in here, and they will actually plot out on all sheets. Okay, so there's all sheets. Symbols, much the same sort of thing. You can place symbols absolute or relative to a frame, but you can also anchor them to a position in the frame. You think of your north points. You might want to anchor it to the top left-hand corner of your frame. And the other thing, fantastic thing, is the symbols can actually rotate as well. If you rotate your view, the symbol will rotate to it as well. So relative to the frame or absolute. We had another option in there where it was called plot millimetres to units or plan units or something like that, and we only had 3 options that we could ever use. Now it's unlimited. We can actually select many different models that will plot in different spaces. A lot of people will actually use that for like plotting notes or on the sides of their plans. Some of the new features, what you see is what you get, so like a preview, which I'll show soon. Auto PDF file naming, so it will actually use the chapter name or your book name or your page name, or you can have overwrites and also attributes. The one that I love is view favourites. How many times has somebody gone into your job and turned off a model or deleted a view or done something? You can use your view favourites to actually set in your plotting. Whiteouts behind the frames. This one is really cool. It was asked in the survey conference, is highlighting your current frame in a detailed plan. You might have many frames running along the road, but which one are you actually looking at? It will actually highlight what's there. You can plot just the book only, the chapter, or the page, and referencing. So I'll go into referencing a little bit later. There's a really nice flash menus on the MPF. The refresh button, that's just a treat. You can make views or notes or symbols or anything active or inactive. You can insert new, that's the button that actually gets something to start. Copy and paste, I'll show you an example of that. Moving up and down the tree. And also, this is another one, is applying a map file to a frame. Like how many times have you got your contours, they're all pretty and green and all the rest of it, but you want your contours on a plan, but you want to dumb them down so you can actually apply a mapping file to grey those things out. Or you might be doing a stormwater plan, you want to show the other surfaces on it, you can actually grey out those other surfaces by running a map file. So that's a frame without a map file, and that is width. So you can change the colours just by applying the mapping file. The magic chapters. The limitations of a single frame just you can only do one cross section at a time, or one long section at a time. What this is going to do is you can actually then have cross sections, magical cross sections appearing, long sections, your drainage long sections, and also a model of plot frames. So you might have a whole lot of plot frames placed down a road, and it will actually plot all of those. Now, for my magic, I need probably one more number. Could somebody shout out another number? Any number? 7. Okay, 15, thank you. So, actually 8 and 15 are a bit too easy. The 15th prime number, I imagine one of you guys will know whatever that is. We need a programmer. Pick any programmer that you want. Peter Tatum, okay. Okay. This is so easy. 8. Somebody worked out what the 15th prime number is?
53.
Thank you. 8, 53, and Peter Tatum. That's going to be harder. Okay. Now I'm going to go live. Okay. Not that live. Now, just doing a simple plot. I just want to create a quick plot to walk out the door using MPS. I just go plot, multi-page plot, and create. We've got our panel, we've got our preview, and like anything else, you would actually read in a standard file. So I pick in a file, read, pick this one here, and read it in. So this is one that I've actually just created. So I've got a few standard things in here. You got your title block. I've got some text with word draft. I've got my page numbers, some CAD notes, which are just, you can select a model to actually refer to. And I've got my CAD frame with a north point. So I want to do a plot, pick my view, pick, accept, and change my, so I've got my view in there, looking good, change my scale. So that might be 350. You can use any scale you want, as long as you have a scale ruler with that on there. You can see I was really fun with my tech drawing teacher. I don't want the draft, so hey look, all I do is just make that inactive. So that's now inactive. Really it's just a matter of going plot, and that's it. And that's going to go and generate my plot. A couple of things that happen, like in the plot sizes have really been reduced quite considerably. I've got one that has got many, many pages, and like it's about 8 megs or something like that. This one will come through at whatever size it's going to come through at. It's going a little bit slow because my computer doesn't like walking through a projector. I don't know why, but yeah. But that's a plot. It didn't take very long at all to actually do that. You can see that it's quite simple and quite easy to do. So I just close that one down. If I was going to make one of these up from scratch, quite simple, plot, multi-page plot, create, and there is a magical button. This is it here, it's called the insert. You can't go anywhere without using that insert, okay? You start trying to build something up, you've got no hope. So magically input a chapter and then a page, select your frame type, plan, and then you can just, hey look, I'm gonna draw a frame. Really easy. You got all your nice edit tools now, you move things around, really comfortable. But like every good presenter, we have a pre-done sort of file with a lot more information in it. I'll open this up and show you a little bit more. Am I going okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I've got a book level, and what we've got is defaults. So what I tend to do is fill everything out at this book level. So everything else will refer back to the book, the major settings in that. So here's my preview, not a hell of a lot on there. If I want to change the size of my preview, I will. I'll just go up to 720 and just make it a little bit bigger so that you can see. I'm not going to, obviously you'd probably have it a little bit bigger when you're back in your office with your triple monitors, and you can have that all over everywhere. You've got a few options down the bottom here, active, view colour, line style, and fills and blendings. So if you actually have a frame of your frame actually to be plotted, it will actually highlight in these particular colours. I'll show you an example of that. I've got an example of my page numbers. I've actually got a cover sheet, and this cover sheet here, I've actually made it inactive, for the numbers, so you can do all that. And I've got a title block that I'm actually not using anything on it. My survey sheets, so what I've got is I've got 4 pages. I've spent some time to actually locate the frames on my page correctly, or like to cover all of my area of my work. I am referring to one single view, which is my plan frame, which is actually looking at my survey view here. And I haven't got any coordinates for my frame. So at a page level, all my frames have their own coordinate and their own rotation, but I don't have a view selected here. So what that means is I can place my frames out, get one part of my tree all copied, all created, and then I would actually go and copy this entire chapter and then just go and rename the actual view that it's actually looking at. So say for my roading plans, this is only just looking at my roading plans, my roading plan views. So all your sheets and all your frames will actually always line up into the correct locations. You can see here that I've got a location diagram, with all my frames there. When I go inside there, you can see how I've actually highlighted the current frame that I'm actually working on, and the north point has been rotated as well, and that's associated to that corner. I skipped one, which would be my, which one do I skip? My cover sheet, my plan frames, my perspective views, there we go. So what we have is we have a perspective view. Unfortunately, it doesn't highlight in your view, preview view, and I've also got a 3D PDF. I'll show you those once we actually open it all up. But yeah, going down a bit further, I've got the magical cross sections. So all we do here is we actually have our back down to this multi-page one, isn't it? So we've got our PPF, we've got our overrides. I'm just doing a single model here, and I'm just limiting the changes that I want to plot out. But in my long section, I've actually got a bit more information here. I'm actually doing a whole model of strings. So I'm going to get many, many sheets there. And you can see here that I've got some standard notes. Okay, these notes are just looking at this particular model here of my design notes, which is my notes placed in paper space in that particular place. Same with the drainage, okay? And the other option that we do have is obviously here. Now, what is it under? This is the only reason you're here, is where is that kept? Plotting,
Plot frame.
plot frames. Here we are. Plot frames more, it's not hidden, and plot frames along a string, okay? We use this old macro from whenever, way back, to actually just place all of the frames in the background there along a string. And then what we do is we specify in here that model of all of those frames. So we just say, hey, look, all of these strings, all of these frames, and what it will do is it will just pick out all of those. What have I forgotten? Oh, you've got some nice tools, yeah?
Yeah, just one thing I want to add is when you got the multi-pages, so MPS will take into account the number of pages in total. So that would get automatically generated if you have the dollar current page and dollar total pages.
That one there, yeah. Well, that's just about it. Oh, my magic, hold on. Oh, we've got to show you what it's actually produced. Okay, so here's my cover page, Rooster Park. don't look at my CAD work, you know, like I've seen some really good examples of some really good plans in that, you know, but you know, here's down the bottom here, pages, number of, you know, somewhere around, All Blacks win. You know, just going through the different pages, you know, it's really cool. You know, I think that, you know, like we all got issued with a standard PowerPoint presentation and also the same building. So, you know, cow eating grass and just a nice little wee sort of picture across there. Yeah, last night Alan said that he would add the include names. Yep, okay, good. I'm just waiting for something to happen here. There's my 3D PDF, so we can actually start then looking that around. In New Zealand, we clap for something that's really good. So that's, there's 53 pages. What was your prime number? Prime number 53. Hey, magic, eh? What was the other number? 8. Oh, so it must be page 8 of, yeah, wonder what this is going to have. And Peter Tayton. Oh, that's pretty good, eh? Yeah. And it's also Peter Tayton's birthday as well. And if you add 53 and 8 together, you get 61, and add 2, that's his birthday. You know, but this is, you know, I think this is pretty magic stuff, this, you know, sort of plotting and that, you know, with all of these, you know, highlights and things like that. I think that's definitely answered the question of somebody in the survey room today. You know, I could have done a lot better there, but, you know, just the sheets of all your cross sections. You know, there's my notes coming through on my long section, just standard notes, but that's everything, you know, that's all of them in there. And then all your drainage long sections, you know, you can see that this is going to automate a lot of things for people. And this is just the model of frames along that particular road. They just all plot out in one. So, and I've managed to go all the way through that without actually even mentioning about the All Blacks, which is pretty good. And thank you very much, Ben. And yeah, thank you. Nothing else.